Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time, the most well-known athlete in the history of worldwide sports. We know what he did. 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, 5 league MVPs, 10 scoring titles, a win-at-all-costs work ethic, a killer mentality, a clutch performer. But what about the early days, before he became Air Jordan, before everyone wanted to be like Mike? Let's take a look at MJ's path from a high school basketball player to the NBA Rookie of the Year. Michael Jordan attended Laney High School in Wilmington, North Carolina, where it has famously been quoted that he was cut from his basketball team as a sophomore. This is not exactly accurate, as Michael actually started for the JV team as a 5'11 sophomore, but was not selected for the varsity team. Only one sophomore at Laney made the varsity squad that year, which was Michael's good friend Leroy Smith, who was 6'7" at the time and went on to play 4 years for the University of UNC Charlotte and also several years of professional ball in Europe. In Michael's junior season, he quickly emerged as the team's best player, scoring 35 points in his very first varsity game and averaging 24.8 points for the season. Before his senior season, he signed to play with Dean Smith and the University of North Carolina, choosing them over the likes of Duke, Syracuse, and North Carolina State. Thanks to a tip from a local athletic director during Michael's junior year, North Carolina was one of the first schools to recruit Michael, though by the summer before his senior year, he was widely recognized as one of the top players in the country due to his strong performance at several summer camps. In his senior year at Laney High School, having already committed in North Carolina, Michael led his team to a 19-4 record, averaging 26.8 points per game. Michael was selected as a McDonald's All-American and was included in an edition of Sports Illustrated for the very first time in his life on April 6, 1981. While the cover featured his future nemesis, Isiah Thomas, Michael and his picture were included on the inside of the magazine, where it listed the roster of the McDonald's All-Americans. Ironically, this cover showing Isiah Thomas cutting down the nets was from the 1981 NCAA championship game whenever the Indiana Hoosiers defeated guess who? The North Carolina Tar Heels. 5 days after the release of this issue, Michael led his team to a 96-95 victory in the McDonald's All-American game, putting up 30 points on 13 of 19 shooting. Heading into his freshman year at North Carolina, the Tar Heels had high expectations coming off a national runner-up season. The team was returning 2 future NBA players who had both averaged 14 points per game the previous year in Sam Perkins and James Worthy. Despite returning 4 starters and only 2 players ever previously having started under Dean Smith as freshmen, Michael Jordan was slotted to fill the spot as starter number 5. During the first week of the season, Sports Illustrated released a now famous cover featuring head coach Dean Smith and 4 of North Carolina's starters, Sam Perkins, Matt Doherty, Jimmy Black, and James Worthy. But there was one glaring omission: Michael Jordan. Coach Dean Smith had a rule that freshman players at North Carolina were not allowed to talk to the media until they had appeared in their first regular season game. The editor at Sports Illustrated begged Coach Smith to bend his rule, arguing that the cover would look silly with only 4 players on the cover. Coach Smith, however, did not give in, so the athlete who would go on to be featured on more Sports Illustrated covers than anyone in the history of the publication would have to wait another year before his first cover appearance. Michael went on to average 13.5 points per game as a true freshman, as North Carolina advanced all the way to the national title game to face John Thompson, Patrick Ewing, and the Georgetown Hoyas. With the Tar Heels trailing by 1 point, Michael Jordan splashed a baseline jumper with 15 seconds remaining to put his team ahead 63-62, which proved to be the final score. Teammate James Worthy was named the most outstanding player with 28 points in the contest, but freshman MJ contributed 16 points, 9 rebounds, and the game-winning basket. In Michael's sophomore season, with James Worthy having departed for the NBA, he showed drastic improvement and immediately established himself as the go-to guy. And in the first week of the season, it was finally Michael's chance to be featured on his first Sports Illustrated cover, alongside teammate Sam Perkins. That season, Michael led UNC to a 28-8 record and ACC title, averaging 20 points per game and earning first-team All-American honors, though the Tar Heels were knocked out in the Elite 8 round by Georgia. In his junior season, Jordan continued to excel, leading North Carolina to a 28-3 record, including undefeated in ACC play. He again averaged 20 points per game, was named a consensus first-team All-American, and this year was also honored as the Naismith and Wooden College Player of the Year. However, UNC was upset by 4-seed Indiana in the second round, leaving Michael with a tough decision about his future. Initially, MJ intended on coming back for a senior season, but Coach Dean Smith convinced him that he was ready for the NBA. The 1984 NBA draft took place on June 19, 1984 in Madison Square Garden. With the number 1 overall pick, the Houston Rockets selected Hakeem Olajuwon, who would go on to win a league MVP award and 2 NBA championship titles with the club. The second pick belonged to the Portland Trail Blazers. The Trailblazers had picked promising young shooting guard Clyde Drexler the season before, and already had shooting guard Jim Paxson, who had been named an All-Star the 2 previous seasons while averaging over 20 points per game. Coincidentally, Jim was the older brother of John Paxson, who would go on to play a significant role as one of Michael Jordan's key teammates on the championship Bulls teams of the 90s. With this in mind, the Trailblazers felt they needed a big man and selected 7'1" center Sam Bowie out of the University of Kentucky. Bowie's career was largely plagued with injuries, and he averaged 11 points per game over his 10 NBA seasons, never being selected to an All-Star team. The third pick was with the Chicago Bulls, and they selected Michael Jordan, though even they had initial hesitations about not picking a big man. As we now know, they made the right decision. But before beginning his career with the Bulls, Michael had some other business to take care of. The 1984 Olympics were hosted in Los Angeles, and Michael was set to be a key player on the U.S. men's basketball team. In those days, NBA players were not allowed to compete in the Olympics, so the U.S. team often consisted of the best college players in the country. This, of course, would change in 1992 when Michael Jordan led the star-studded Dream Team to a gold medal. Heading into the official Olympic competition in 1984, the U.S. team prepared by playing an NBA Select Team, which consisted of various NBA All-Stars. Though the lineups changed game to game, the select team included players such as Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Isiah Thomas, Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, and Mark Aguirre. Led by Michael Jordan, the U.S. men's team defeated the NBA Select Team all 8 times that they played. This was followed by Michael's second Sports Illustrated cover on July 23, 1984, with the headline, "Up, Up for LA." The 84 men's team then rolled through the Olympic competition, going 8-0 en route to a gold medal, with Michael Jordan leading the way and averaging 17 points per game. On October 26, 1984, Michael Jordan made his NBA debut, putting up 16 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, and 4 blocks in a 16-point Bulls win over the Washington Bullets. In his third game of the season, he dropped 37 points on the Milwaukee Bucks. In Game 9, he poured in 45 points against the San Antonio Spurs. Michael was very quickly proving himself to already be one of the most exceptional players in the NBA. Through his first 19 professional games, he was the 6th leading scorer at 25.6 points per game, ranked 4th in rebounding among guards, and led the NBA in steals. The league was on notice, and Michael Jordan was plastered on his first professional Sports Illustrated cover with the headline, "A Star is Born." In that article, Michael was quoted as saying that he hoped to play in at least one All-Star game in his career. He didn't have to wait long for that, as a couple months later he was a starter in the NBA All-Star game in Indianapolis, where he also finished runner-up to Dominique Wilkins in the dunk contest. By the end of Michael's first season, he had put up arguably the greatest rookie year in NBA history. His final season averages were 28 points, 6.5 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2.4 steals per game. He finished 6th in the MVP voting, receiving more first-place votes than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, and Isiah Thomas. On the year, he had 17 double-doubles, 3 triple-doubles, 7 40-point games, and he led the league in total points scored. The foundation had been laid for the new NBA superstar who would go on to absolute greatness. And as they say, the rest is history.